we're back. All right, we're back with the program. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. Want to thank so much everyone out there for watching and listening to us right here. But you know what week it is. It is the big week for video games because the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series is coming out. But I'm here to be talking about PlayStation at this point in time because I know one of the biggest PlayStation fans that's out there. It's a good man indeed. And you know what? If you're ever in Vegas, you got to go ahead and check out what he's doing as far as on the scene, as far as karaoke. He does a great thing as far as bars all over the place with his karaoke. He's going to talk about that and more, especially his love for the PlayStation 5, because I know he's looking forward to it this week. It is George Thomas. And George, I remember our time when I went to go ahead and check your awesome store out, Game Over. I remember those great days, and look how far it's come. It's come down to 4K, HDR, SSD, all this stuff that's going on. So much has changed in the time I first met you.
I know, man. Video games have just gone ballistic. I mean, I've been in this industry, I previously was in the industry for at least 32 years. So I've seen every system launch. And by far, the PlayStation 5 one is the most excited I've been since the Dreamcast launch.
There you go. That's a long time right there for everyone out there, late 90s. So I want to ask you this. What is so entrancing to you? I know that you're a big PlayStation fan, but what is about the PlayStation 5 that is really keying you in on this time around?
Well, I'm really excited about the SSD loading because I have that in my PC. Very excited about that. The ray tracing, the backwards compatibility, finally, at least for the past generation. Although from what I'm hearing now, it's kind of weird, but I mean, we'll talk about that in a minute. And then it's just like a seamless transition to actual 4K gaming as opposed to the Pro being kind of 4K gaming.
Yeah.
You know, which was fine. But you know, the PlayStation 5 has me super excited. Matter of fact, I'm trying to figure out how I'm getting one this week.
You and a lot of other people, because it's something that I think a lot of people are a little bit disappointed at, is because the pre-order fiasco for both major companies, Microsoft and Sony, and how they've handled this release. And it's kind of disappointing as far as the pre-order fiascos and all that. And plus the fact that there's not going to be as many out on the street as, let's say, the previous generation is concerned. Because I think because it's 2020 and all the situation that's gone on with 2020, production has not been where it's needed to be for both systems. So it's going to be a little bit harder to find initially. Well, I know that's... Go ahead.
It seems like they're doing a really good thing right now with how you can pick them up if you didn't pre-order them. As Sony is not allowing people, because of COVID, to go into stores and mob the stores. They're doing online purchases where you can go pick them up. I mean that's not bad. I think Walmart's shipping them. Target, you can pick them up. Best Buy, you can pick them up. Or Best Buy, they ship them later or something like that. But it seems like they have a pretty good, more of an in-store. This is what we have, and you can order from the store closest to you, which might be kind of good. It might work out for the gamers who actually want to play and not the scalpers who want to sell them for $1,000 online.
Yeah, I remember that very much so, and I'm actually expecting that to happen over the course of the next few days. Is the people that out there want to go ahead and take advantage of the situation at this point in time, and that's not uncommon with every console generation. But I will say this: I mean, there's going to be a ton of games coming down the line for PlayStation 5. What right now is on your radar that you know is on the way for the PlayStation 5 that you really, really, really know that you're going to be getting a great experience out of?
You know what? Here's the thing. The difference between the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox, and why I'm more of a PlayStation fan. And generally, I buy every system. This time, I'm not buying an Xbox simply because PlayStation has the exclusive content, and that's what's important with a game system. You're not going to spend $500 on a system that you're not playing anything new on, and you're not getting a different experience. Whereas, like, the Xbox, which is a great machine spec wise, it's not. They're not releasing anything, and everything from there has to work with the Xbox One X and the lower systems. So basically, you're buying a new machine to play old stuff, And while the Game Pass is interesting, and I have Game Pass. Of course, I have Game Pass. I have an Xbox, but it's catered more toward the gamer than the actual business itself. I don't see how this business model is going to work for them. I am very excited to see Cyberpunk on the PlayStation 5. God willing, it releases.
Yes.
And I was kind of excited to play Avengers on the PS5, even amidst all their problems that they're having with Avengers. I was excited to play that. They pushed that. So.
Well, it's funny because, like you said, a lot of people out there that are buying Xbox are buying it on faith this week, and they're buying it on the faith that there's going to be a lot of games for it that come eventually down the road. Obviously, their purchase of Bethesda is going to make a bright future for the Xbox, but buying it for the here and now, it's very difficult to say, okay, are you getting any exclusive games? Are you buying something that's you're not. Yeah. And that's really hard to sell. PlayStation's not going to have many either, but at least it has some that are going to be available right away.
It's not going to be 2 years out.
Yeah.
I mean, average production time of a game is 2 to 3, sometimes 5 years.
Yeah.
On these higher end titles, and Xbox being committed to just not having new content. And then on top of that, if you have a halfway decent PC, why the heck would you buy an Xbox One X series, whichever one? I don't even know what it's called anymore.
The Xbox Series X and then the Xbox Series S for the 1080 version. Yeah, I hear you.
Buy that if you can get Game Pass on your PC and play the same games. I don't understand. They've been going in this really weird business model for a while now, and I don't get it. I usually buy it system just on GP. I'm like, I gotta have an Xbox, I gotta have a Switch, I gotta have a PlayStation, and I generally play my PlayStation more than any of them.
Yeah.
But having no exclusives for the Xbox makes me say, well, do I want to spend that $600 or $500 on a machine that I can play pretty much on my Xbox One X I already have?
Well, I agree with you on that sense, but I think, like you said, it may not be about the system itself. It's about the Game Pass, which they may be modeling after some of the streaming, more popular streaming outlets that are out there. Obviously like Netflix and Amazon Prime. They're talking about penetration as far as the number of people that actually have it, whether they're playing on PC or they're playing it on the Xbox Series X or what have you. I mean, it's just very interesting to see how that's going to lay out. And you're right. I mean, if you have a high-end PC, you can play all these games that it's going to be on Xbox Games Pass. But if you don't, maybe the $500 Xbox Series may be the option for you. But again, it comes down to what games are available now for it. And while they have a ton of games on Xbox Games Pass, they're all going to be bumped up resolutions of the current games many people already own.
Herein lies the challenge with that, man, because you also have, sure, it's great once again for the consumer, hey, you can pay $15 a month or $20 a month. I don't know what it is. It just comes out automatically, but you pay X amount of dollars a month and you can play this and that game. However, the game companies can't make money like that. CD Projekt Red already told them, no, we're not letting you put Cyberpunk on the Games Pass because we need to make money off of it.
Absolutely.
Off of it. And so it's good for indie studios, smaller studios, kind of like what PlayStation did back in the day when they let all these indie studios come in and make games for their PlayStation store. PlayStation finances a lot of that stuff to help them out.
Yeah.
But bigger titles are not going to be on the Game Pass unless they're Microsoft exclusive, which they don't have any.
Yeah.
And they bought Bethesda, which is great. Bethesda's always late. Bethesda's always buggy. I think that's going to be a bad choice for them. In the long run, because I don't think they're going to want to sit under Microsoft's thumb when they need to be done and ready. And Bethesda likes to do things on their own time.
Yes, and I don't think Microsoft's going to rush them, especially when you spend $7.5 billion. You want to see a thorough investment, and you don't want another Fallout 76 issue to come to play, especially with the Elder Scrolls 6 coming around at some point in time. You want to make sure that's up to par. If it's not up to par with Skyrim, it could be a big loss.
Yeah, it could potentially be devastating for that company. I mean, of course, I'll get an Xbox when that comes out.
Yes,
I guess now that I have to. I was upset when Obsidian went over to them too. Thank goodness I got Outer Worlds, But I was like, Obsidian, Microsoft keeps buying companies, but problem is Microsoft buys companies and does nothing with them. They constantly do this, and I'm like, you have all these great companies working underneath you, and you don't put anything out. And then now there's a new machine out. Well, I'm getting the PlayStation 5 because I know there's content. The 20 games they're putting with the PlayStation Plus thing with upgraded stuff, fantastic. Yeah, they're older games, but I think that's a good push. Some of their delays are kind of weird. But also the backwards compatibility is strange, and the fact that they don't have, this is the problems I have with the PlayStation 5 right now. You can't expand the storage yet.
Yeah, that's what I heard. That's a kind of a downer right there for you.
Kind of a downer because there's not enough room on there for too many games. But they're testing the speeds of the ones that are out. Plus, they're too expensive.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, you're talking about a 1 terabyte system right in there, and then let's say you want to get Cyberpunk right after in December if it comes out, fingers crossed,
right.
And that's going to take up probably 400-500 gigs of that storage space.
Sure. If you want the fast load speeds.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, how do I manage this? And if you don't attach
the time,
yeah,
go ahead. Storage. You can still do the external storages, but it's not going to have speed.
Yeah,
they're touting no load times, but you have to use it off the external, which is going to be external load times, which is going to be load times.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. But there's not that there's a lot of big giant SSD in the first place, but I thought that the storage was bad on the PlayStation. But what are you gonna do?
Well, hopefully within 2 or 3 years, as we've seen each and every console cycle, that it sort of fixes itself and more options are made available to consumers that are, either more affordable or more attractive that will allow them to go ahead and be able to make it a better purchase. But I know there's some games that you're excited about for the PlayStation 5, either now or going forward. I know God of War coming up next year is going to be a big thing on your
God of War, Spider-Man. That Destruction All-Stars looked pretty fun to me, and then now it's going to be a free game, so I don't have to buy it, but I was going to buy that one anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That looked interesting. And just to see, Ratchet and Clank. I got to have Ratchet and Clank because that's like a staple, man. I wish they'd do another Jak and Daxter, but Ratchet and Clank I can live with. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, definitely God of War and Ratchet and Clank because those are fantastic franchises. And, my multiplayer thing, I'm still playing PS4 multiplayer stuff, so I don't know what they're going to do with those, with Star Wars Squadrons or For Honor or, Destiny to a lower extent. I know there's a new Destiny thing coming out this week.
Yeah.
My multiplayer has kind of been dying down because I was really going to invest in Avengers, and I'm like,
yeah, I know.
I think we played it. I think everybody in the community played it too much,
and
played it too hard, and now there's nothing to do. And I'm like, okay, this is boring.
Well, but that's how gamers are. We grind, and then if there's no more to grind, we move on. And Square Enix, I put the blame squarely on them for not mapping this out a lot better and not having a more fuller experience.
They had no roadmap. They were not ready.
Yeah, exactly. So I will tell you this, my friend. It's been great talking to you about what's going on with the PlayStation 5. But please check out George if you're here in Vegas or when you come to Vegas, Rebel Base Karaoke. You got to go ahead and check him out at one of the great places that he's at. How can people get word on where you're at as far as Rebel Base Karaoke or anything that you're up to in the world of video games?
Okay, well, as far as the karaoke scene right now, we're under COVID restrictions, but you can check me out on Facebook at Rebel Base Karaoke. There's 3 sites: Rebel Base Karaoke, Naughty Karaoke, and Bikini-oke. The 3 sites that we have on Facebook for different kinds of crowds for that. And then also the other shows that I am a producer on, Admit VIP, because we do produce some actual shows like Motown and Alan New and some other things as well. That's at admit.vip on Facebook as well. Am I on Twitter? Yeah, I'm on Twitter. Big G702. Just check one of those sites out, and I'm always posting what we're going to do. We're now doing live ambient music at a couple places, and I won't put them on here right now, but DM me on Facebook at George B. Thomas or Rebel Base Karaoke, and I can tell you what's going on there. As far as video games are concerned, we still have the Gamer Protection Fund that actually you guys have been handling pretty well.
I appreciate it. Thank you again. I wanted to make a public thank you for allowing me to give me the opportunity to reach an even larger audience because of it, because the GPG has been so awesome as far as allowing us to do that. So I cannot thank you enough for giving us that platform.
Well, I started when I still had the game stores, and all this litigation against video games, I'm like, this is ridiculous, So we started to kind of put it together, and then you guys, ran with, which is fantastic. GPG on Facebook is a fantastic gamer site, and I've been moving into the board game stuff. Oh, we have Rebel. Oh, yeah, okay. So we got Rebel for video games. We got Rebel Base Gamers on Facebook, and we have Rebel Base on Twitch. That we're streaming, trying to find a schedule to stream. Me and my son run those, and we're kind of like all over the place with it right now. But we're trying to find a schedule. Once we get more viewers, then I can say we're going to do it this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. But it's Rebel Base on Twitch, and then Rebel Base Gamers on Facebook for the board game stuff that we're kind of covering lately.
Well, that's awesome. Tabletop gaming is in.
Yeah.
It's something very big, and I'm looking forward to checking you out on Twitch as well at Rebel Base on Twitch. Please check him out there and all the great things that he's up to. It is George Thomas, and George rocking that Mass Effect Andromeda jacket, which I have, which GameStop sold to me for $5. I remember picking that up.
I was a manager at GameStop when it came. I was still a manager at GameStop. And I was like, I gotta have that. I gotta have it.
It's funny because like you said, that's one of the benefits of the fallout of Mass Effect Andromeda is you were able to get stuff on the cheap shortly thereafter. So, but as you can tell, we're both Mass Effect fans. We're so excited for Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
Gosh, I'm so excited for that.
Spring 2021. We're hoping. We're hoping. Yes.
And then the year. But,
yes. Well, I'm hoping that it will come, spring 2021 with a nice 4K update so that you can play it on PlayStation 5. I wish you much success with the PlayStation 5 and all your adventures that you're going to be taking on it. And then, of course, everything that you're doing out there on Rebel Base Karaoke and Rebel Base on Twitch. George, it's been great talking to you. I want to bring you back on again when you have more time to talk about the great world of video games or anything else you want to talk about in pop culture, whether it's streaming, whether it's tabletop gaming. Always great to have you on. It's been my honor to do that. But any last thoughts on the way out?
No, just, hey, guys, listen. When you guys go out there trying to get your PS5s and stuff and your Xboxes, please be courteous to other people. And please understand that the people working in these places, they do not have control over their inventory. They do not have control on how many they have or how they can sell it to you. So don't be mad at them. I was one of them for a long time. Don't be mad at them. They're going to help you the best they can. And honestly, don't buy from scalpers because they're going to be available. It's just you might not get it on launch day, but they're committed to putting a lot of these out, Microsoft and Sony likewise. So don't get mad, and also be very careful when you're going back to your cars because there's a lot of jerks out there that, wish people ill will and want to do bad things. So if you do get one, please be very careful going back to your car and be safe. And please treat the workers in the stores, with respect because they're trying their hardest and they got a million people just like you who want to get one too. So just be nice to them.
As someone who managed 2 video game stores himself back in the day, I cannot agree with you more. That's extremely well said. Be safe, everyone. Continued happy gaming to you, my friend. And I look forward to bringing you back right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos.
Thanks, guys.